A college student is driving home, California, August 2013, from school to his parents' house. A 3-hour drive. His parents are tracking him on GPS. They can see him moving. For hours, he's driving, but not toward home. He's driving in circles, around the same area, around Buttonwillow, California, a small town, over and over, for 8 hours. Then he starts moving again, toward home. His parents are relieved. Then his car is found, crashed, at the bottom of Castaic Lake. The driver's side door is open, blood on the seats. But Bryce is gone. Another night, another mile, another case that never closed. Tonight, Bryce David Laspisa, 19 years old, college student, Sierra College, Rockland, California, August 30th, 2013. He was driving home to see his parents in Laguna Niguel, Southern California. A 3-hour trip should have been simple, but Bryce started acting strange, driving erratically in loops. 4 hours, his parents watched on GPS. Helpless. Then he crashed and disappeared. This is what we know. August 27, 2013, Tuesday. Bryce Laspisa is at Sierra College in Rockland, Northern California, near Sacramento. He's a freshman, graphic design major, good student. Artistic. Creative. He lives in student housing with a roommate. Kim. They get along well. Bryce has a girlfriend, Kim Sly. They've been dating a few months. Everything seems normal. But that week, something changes. Bryce starts acting different, withdrawn. Distant. Kim notices. His girlfriend. She asks what's wrong. Bryce won't say, just says he's stressed. School. Life. Nothing specific. August 28, 2013. Wednesday. Bryce gives away his possessions, his Xbox, his gaming equipment, expensive stuff. He just gives it to his roommate. Says he doesn't need it anymore. Kim is confused. Why would he do that? Bryce won't explain. That evening, Bryce breaks up with Kim, his girlfriend, via text, abruptly. No real explanation. Just says it's over. Kim is devastated. She tries calling. Bryce won't answer. She contacts his mother, Karen Laspisa, tells her something's wrong. Bryce is acting strange. Karen is concerned. She calls Bryce. He answers, but he sounds off. Flat, emotionless. Karen asks what's wrong. Bryce says he's fine, just tired. She doesn't believe him. But what can she do? He's 19. An adult, at college. August 29, 2013, Thursday. Bryce's roommate, Kim, contacts Karen again. He's worried. Bryce hasn't slept, hasn't eaten. He's just sitting, staring, not talking. Karen calls Bryce again, tells him to come home for the weekend. She wants to see him, make sure he's okay. Bryce agrees. He'll drive home. In the morning, August 30th, 2013, morning, Bryce gets in his car, a 2003 Toyota Highlander. Red. He starts driving south, Interstate 5, toward his parents' house, Laguna Niguel, Southern California, about 350 miles. A 3-hour drive, maybe four with traffic. Karen and her husband, Mike, are waiting, expecting him by early afternoon, 11 a.m. Bryce stops for gas in Buttonwillow, a small town, about halfway. He fills up, gets back in the car. Then, he stops moving. Karen is tracking him on GPS, a phone app. Find My iPhone. She can see his location. He's in Buttonwillow, not moving. 12 p.m. Still there. 1 p.m. Still there. Karen calls him. Bryce answers. He sounds strange, distant. She asks where he is. He says he's in Buttonwillow, just sitting. Why? He doesn't say. Karen is worried now. She calls local police. Buttonwillow? Kern County Sheriff asks them to check on Bryce. An officer finds him around 2 p.m., sitting in his car in a parking lot, engine off. The officer talks to Bryce. Are you okay? Do you need help? Bryce says he's fine. Just taking a break. The officer sees no signs of distress. No drugs. No alcohol. Bryce is coherent. Calm. The officer lets him go. Calls Karen. Says Bryce seems okay. Just tired. Karen begs the officer. Please make sure he keeps driving. Something's wrong. The officer agrees. He tells Bryce, your parents are worried. You need to go home. Bryce nods. Says he will. 2:30 p.m. Bryce starts driving. Karen watches on GPS. He's moving. Good. But then, he's not heading south. Not toward home. He's driving in circles. Around Button Willow. Same roads. Same route. Over and over. Karen watches, confused, terrified. She calls Bryce. No answer. She calls the police again. They can't find him. He's moving. For hours, Bryce drives in loops around the same area. Karen and Mike watch. On the GPS, helpless, 9 p.m. Bryce is still driving, still in circles. Then, he stops at a rest stop on Interstate 5, near Costaic, closer to home, about 90 miles away. Karen is relieved. Maybe he's resting. Maybe he'll drive home now. She calls him. He answers. She asks where he is. He says he's at a rest stop. She asks if he's coming home. He says yes. She tells him, just drive straight. We're waiting. Bryce says okay. Hangs up. 2 a.m. August 31st, 2013. Bryce is still at the rest stop. Not moving. Karen calls again. No answer. She's panicking now. 3 a.m. Bryce starts moving finally south. Toward home. Karen watches. The GPS shows him. On Interstate 5. Getting closer. Then, the GPS stops updating. Karen refreshes. Nothing. She tries calling. Straight to voicemail. 6 a.m. Karen and Mike haven't slept. They're waiting. Watching. Bryce's phone is offline. No GPS. No contact. 7 a.m. They get a call. California Highway Patrol. Bryce's car has been found, crashed, at Costaic Lake. California Highway Patrol arrives at Costaic Lake. Interstate 5 runs along the lake. A sharp curve. A steep embankment. Bryce's car went off the road. Down the slope. It crashed. Rolled. Came to rest. Near the water. The car is heavily damaged. Windshield shattered. Front end crushed. But it's upright. The driver's side door is open. Wide open. As if someone got out. Or was pulled out. Officers approach. They look inside. Blood. On the seats. On the headrest. Not a lot. But enough to indicate injury. They find Bryce's belongings. His phone. In the car. Smashed. His wallet. Cash inside. His laptop. His keys. In the ignition. But no Bryce. They search the area. The embankment. The water. The shoreline. Nothing. They bring in search dogs. The dogs track a scent. From the car. Toward the lake. Then the scent disappears. At the water's edge. Did Bryce go into the lake? Divers are called. They search for days. The lake is large. Deep. Murky. They find nothing. No body. No clothing. Nothing. Investigators examine the car. The crash was significant, but survivable. The airbags deployed. The seatbelt was fastened. Bryce was wearing it when the car crashed. So why is there blood? And where is he? Police interview Karen and Mike. They tell them everything. The strange behavior. The breakup. The driving in circles. The hours at the rest stop. Something was wrong. Police investigate Bryce's recent activity. His phone records. His computer. They find something. Bryce had been researching online. Before he left. Searches about how to disappear. Starting over. Fake IDs. Was Bryce planning to run away? Police also find something else. Bryce had been taking Vyvanse, a prescription medication for ADHD. He'd been prescribed it recently by a doctor at school, but friends say Bryce was taking more than prescribed, recreationally, mixing it with alcohol. The drug can cause paranoia, anxiety, psychosis, especially in high doses. Could that explain his behavior? Police look for Bryce. They check hospitals, shelters, bus stations. Nothing. They check his bank account. No activity. His credit cards. No charges. His social media. No posts. No logins. Nothing. They expand the search. Around Castaic Lake. Miles of wilderness. Rugged terrain. Hills. Brush. Search and rescue teams. Helicopters. Dogs. They find nothing. Weeks pass. Then months. Still no sign of Bryce. And this is where the story gets strange. Bryce drove in circles for 8 hours around Buttonwillow. Why? What was he doing? Was he lost, confused, or was he avoiding something, delaying? Police calculated, based on GPS data, Bryce drove the same loop over 30 times, the same roads, the same route, over and over. That's not confusion. That's deliberate or compulsive. And there's the rest stop. Bryce stayed there for 5 hours, 2 a.m. to 7 a.m., just sitting in his car. Why? What was he waiting for? Did he meet someone? Witnesses at the rest stop don't remember seeing him, but it was late. Dark. He could have been there. Alone. Then there's the crash. The way the car went off the road. It wasn't a sharp turn. It wasn't ice or rain. It was a straight section. Bryce just drove off. Deliberately? Or did he fall asleep? Lose control? The blood in the car. It's Bryce's blood type. Type O. DNA confirmed, but not much blood. Just smears. On the headrest, the seat, as if he hit his head, then got out. But if he was injured, where did he go? Injured people don't disappear. They seek help, or collapse. But search teams found nothing. No trail. No body. No evidence he walked away. And there's the phone. Smashed. Inside the car. Why? If Bryce got out, why leave his phone broken? Did it break in the crash? Or did someone smash it? And there's something else. Bryce's laptop. It was in the car, damaged in the crash. But police recovered data. They found a note. Typed, not saved, just open. In a document, it said, "I'm sorry. That's all. Nothing more." Was it a suicide note or something else? Police don't know. Bryce Laspisa drove for hours, in circles, acting erratically. Then he crashed and vanished. His blood is in the car, but his body was never found. 11 years later, no one knows where he went. Theory 1. Bryce died in Castaic Lake. He got out of the car after the crash, disoriented, injured. He wandered toward the water. Fell in, drowned. His body sank. The lake is deep. Bodies don't always surface. This explains the scent trail. The dogs tracked him to the water, but it doesn't explain the lack of a body. The lake was searched extensively. Divers. Sonar. Nothing. Theory 2. Bryce walked away from the crash. Injured. Confused. He wandered into the wilderness, collapsed, died of exposure. His body is out there, somewhere. Hidden. This explains the lack of evidence at the lake. He didn't go in the water. He went into the hills. But it doesn't explain the searches. Miles of terrain, helicopters, dogs, nothing found. Theory 3. Bryce had a psychotic break. The Vyvanse, the lack of sleep, the stress. It caused a mental crisis. He wasn't thinking clearly. After the crash, he ran. Hid, then died, or is still out there, living off-grid. This explains the erratic behavior, the driving in circles, the bizarre actions. But it doesn't explain the survival. Injured. No money. No ID. How would he survive for 11 years? Theory 4. Bryce staged his disappearance. He wanted to start over. New life. New identity. The internet searches support this. How to disappear. He crashed the car deliberately, made it look like an accident, then walked away, met someone, or had a plan. This explains the lack of a body. He's alive, somewhere, but it doesn't explain why. Bryce was close with his parents, doing well in school. What would drive him to leave? Theory 5. Someone else was involved. Bryce met someone at the rest stop or before. They were in the car. They caused the crash or took Bryce after. This explains the 5-hour stop, the strange behavior, but it doesn't explain who or why. No evidence of another person. Every theory has problems. Every explanation raises more questions. In the weeks after Bryce disappeared, his parents never stopped searching. Karen and Mike Laspisa. They traveled to Castaic Lake, searched themselves, walked miles, called his name. Nothing. They hired private investigators, multiple firms. They searched, interviewed, followed leads. Nothing concrete. In 2013, the case was featured on local news. In California, national coverage. Disappeared.drive.phil. Tips came in. Possible sightings. In California. In Oregon. In Nevada. A young man resembling Bryce. At a gas station. At a beach. At a campground. None confirmed. In 2015, a hiker found something in the hills near Castaic. A backpack. Could it be Bryce's? Police investigated. It wasn't his. In 2018, new technology, sonar imaging, more advanced. The lake was searched again. Still nothing. In 2020, Karen and Mike released a statement. On the anniversary, 7 years, they still believe Bryce is alive. They won't give up. In 2022, facial recognition technology applied to databases. Unidentified persons. John does. Missing persons. Across the country. No matches to Bryce. In 2024, a tip came in. Someone claimed to have seen Bryce in Northern California, living homeless. Police investigated. The person refused to cooperate. The lead went nowhere. Karen maintains a website, Facebook page, findbryce.com. She posts regularly, shares updates, keeps Bryce's story alive. She's aged. The stress, the heartbreak, but she won't stop. As of 2026, Bryce Laspisa has been missing for 13 years. His case is still open. California Highway Patrol still investigates. The FBI is involved, but there have been no arrests, no charges. No body. Bryce would be 32 years old now. Castaic Lake is still there. Still popular. Campers. Boaters. Hikers. Most don't know that 13 years ago, a young man crashed there and disappeared. The spot where his car was found marked, not officially, but locals know. Some leave flowers, periodically, remembering. Interstate 5 still runs past thousands of cars every day. The same road Bryce drove, in circles, for 8 hours. In 2024, Karen Laspisa gave an interview for a podcast. She said, I know Bryce is out there. I can feel it. A mother knows. She still tracks his phone, even though it's offline. Dead. She checks it every day, just in case. In 2025, new age progression photos were created. What Bryce might look like. 31.32. The images were shared widely. Social media, missing person databases. Still no confirmed sighting. If you have information about Bryce Laspisa's disappearance, contact the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department 3-389-05500 or visit findbryce.com to submit tips. The road keeps going. Interstate 5 still runs south, past Castaic Lake. A young man drove that road in circles 4 hours. His parents watched on GPS. Helpless. Then he crashed and vanished. His blood was in the car, but his body was never found. 13 years later, the GPS stopped, but the questions didn't. Where did Bryce Laspisa go after the crash? If you know something about this case, the comments are open. If you want more roads like this, I'll keep driving.